Praise the Lord, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the preacher. Okay. Marriage. What is marriage? Most of us believe, are taught, read, research, understand marriage to be this image of two people, usually a man and a woman, that are all dressed up in tradition, whatever your tradition is. And then there's this ceremony, celebration, and then there's legal paperwork. And when I was coming along, you had to have blood work. And, there's a process. And then there's rings, and then you're exclusive. And then there's kids, homes, mortgages, and cars, and college tuition, and all that kind of stuff. So we have this idea of what marriage is. But is that really what marriage is? Really? Or is that what is packaged and marketed and sold to us? The concept of marriage that we all tend to strive for, invest in, and usually lose, like a stock market item type of thing. So this video is titled, you know, with women, but I think I'm going to change that word to people because in America, where I live, it is legal for two men to marry now. So marriage in America has changed and our economy has not caught up with the change. A lot of what is going on in America has to do with our laws. Sometimes you have to clean up your own house before you can do business with other people. America, the image of America does not look well to the world. Our image. What is our image? What is our image? We lost it. It's changed. It's not identifiable. It's not recognizable. It's easy to, it's like it's hard to look at, but easy to benefit from. You know what I mean? We need to close our borders and take a look at our laws. Take a look at our image. Do we look like Most High? Do we look like God? What God do we serve here in America? Is there a God? You know what I'm saying? The image of America is bad, and we need to clean it up. We don't know if we're white, black, Puerto Rican, or anyone in between. We don't even know who we are. We're so mixed up. And some people may say, well, that's not a bad thing. That's what makes us beautiful. Yeah, there are pros and cons to everything. There are pros and cons to mixtures. There are pros and cons to purity. But right now, we are living out the negative side of all of our mixtures. We're so mixed up, so united, I guess you could say. We're so conformed till we're not recognizable. We no longer look like, in order to unite, you had to have had some type of original source. You had to have come from somewhere in order to unite, you know? So the way America was, the way America was, men were the providers, women were more of the nurturers, even in the workplace. Even in the workplace, the women were secretaries. The women, were working, making money, gaining independence, but in submissive roles. Till this day, 2025. I mean, not that it's, the biggest deal ever or anything, but we haven't had our first woman president yet. Women still serve in the submissive role till this day. So, with that being said, women are still required to, quote unquote, market themselves a certain way to be in position to serve. Positions to serve tend to have some type of ranking, hierarchy, things like that. So that's where the competition come in amongst ourselves, women. And what I'm saying about women can be said about men, of course. But I'm not a man. I'm a woman. And I was married twice and I'm divorced twice. So I've served in that position twice. I have experience in what I'm talking about. Just like on your resume, your job resume, your employer wants to know what is your experience, your previous experience. What are you bringing to the company? What talents, knowledge, education, hands on, things like that. People want to know what they're working with. In the workplace, though, just because you left a job or was fired, I mean, it may come up in an interview. And in some cases, it may even keep you from getting the next job. But for the most part, it doesn't stop you. You're able to keep on going to new opportunities and new jobs. And having to have quit or been fired from some previous position in the past, it don't have any impact on your future jobs. You just keep on going. But for some reason in relationships, we don't use that same concept. Now, some of us do. Some of us do. And I'm not mad at those people. I'm not. I'm not mad at those people. I may have some complaints. But I'm not mad. I never stop them. I let people who have the courage to just go on and blow through and do what they're going to do, boom, do it. you know, I haven't found that courage yet. I'm working on it. But, a lot of people enter these relationships with the least experience possible. Most people enter relationships not knowing what they're doing. How is lack of knowledge, experience profitable in a relationship? How is it profitable? It may be a preference. It may be a preference. Most men claim that they want to marry a virgin, a woman that has been untouched. They're the only ones that has ever touched this woman. That's what they want. That's their preference. But how is that profitable? It may be your preference, but how is it profitable? Just like in the workplace, to take a fresh high school, college graduate that has never had their first job, you're going to have to teach them how to use an electric pencil sharpener. That's how fresh they are. How is that profitable for the company? You know, it may be a preference, you know, you assume that they can't mess a lot up. There's not a lot that they can mess up. No previous experience has spoiled them, so to speak. But yet, just like they haven't been spoiled yet, they haven't been ripened yet either. So you don't know what good you're going to get. You have no idea. When there's no spoiling nor any growth either, you just don't know what you're going to get. You have no idea. As much as the preference, may meet all the other criteria, but there's no report on activity, growth when it comes to relationships, when it comes to a job. Now, for some companies and some men, they may find profit in that. You, they can find profit in that. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not complaining, but I'm just explaining, giving a comparison, kind of like an analogy, I guess. I'm one of those women, and people may say, well, that's normal for a woman, though. I prefer, my preference is experience. My preference, I'm out of the dating game, guys. I don't really date like that. I have no desire, intentions to marry ever again. I've already put in, served 32 years of legal marriage, so I'm good. But whether I'm actively dating single men or not, I still have preference. Just because I have preference doesn't mean I act on it. So my preference tends to be, the darker complected brother with, I was just saying this new characteristic. What's this new characteristic I was just saying, guys? It's late. That's so funny. The comments were on, and but I turned them off because it's hard for me to think and read the comments too. I haven't mastered that yet. I'm still new on here too, learning my way through. So if you're still here, click like and hit the subscription button. Come on and vibe with the tribe. Hit the notification bell. I tend to go live most of the time. Share my videos. I have 6,000, like I think up to 2,000 videos now, y'all. I'm like, oh my goodness, that is a lot. So yeah. But back to the overall concept of, you know, why women tend to maybe like oversell themselves in marriage. And I won't even say just women anymore, people in general. Because here in the United States, two men can legally marry. It's legal. Two men can legally marry. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I don't have a problem with it. In fact, it makes financial sense. It's not so much a moral move. It's not so much a social move. Men have been lovers forever, since the garden. you know, Men have been playing around forever. To legalize it hasn't really moved the needle. other than financially. With so many male female divorces, there are more divorces than there are people staying together, that it was almost a business financial move for men to legally marry just to keep wealth in the country, to keep divorced women from being swindled, or even men, I mean, for that matter, I mean, more so men, to keep, divorced people from being swindled by strangers, really. Anyone that's outside the marriage waiting for a divorce so that they can, you know, pick the scraps, you know, benefit from the breakup. That's one of the reasons why I could never commit to the homewrecker. I could never commit to Judas. That's like, Judas betraying Jesus and someone saying, Judas, I forgive you. Come be with me. I'll marry you and we'll be happy forever. I forgive you. Jesus, forgive you. I love you. Come on. You don't have to, you know, take yourself out. Give me those monies, because he was trying to get that money back. She'd be like, give me that money. I know where to spend it. You know what I'm saying? I, I, mm, I don't know. I mean, some people do it and be just fine. They die with their homeworker. Be committed to life, to their homework. So, again, to me, two men being able to legally marry in the United States was more of a possibly a chess move, a financial move than anything else. Allow all the trillionaires and billionaires to legally marry each other, even if they're not, you know, socially married, What better way for men in this country to keep money here than through legal marriage? I think that's one way that, now this may sound crazy, so I'm going to just admit it already. It's crazy, guys. What I'm about to say is crazy. Okay? But now that I put that out there, now I can whew, just go on and say it, right? Here we go. I believe as white men in the past, like decades ago, as they sat down and decided to change legal marriage, where, anybody can get married, of any race. Now, not gender back then, gender is now. But back then, they put the race card in marriage. But white men knew that they were divorcing their wives and marrying foreign women in large numbers. They knew they were doing that. But they knew their divorced wives were getting, you know, alimony and child support and property and whatever. You know what I'm saying? These are rich people. So, um, so they knew that, they had to protect the other half of their assets. So if they're going to foreign women, then where are their divorced wives going to go? Where are these divorced wives going to go with half their money? You know what I mean? So whether they liked it or not, whether it was their preference or not, financially, black men made sense financially. They already a part of the constitutional contract. They're already on this land. They are already submissive to both the white man and white woman, which means that the white man still controls his money. Encouraging, allowing the white woman to marry black men is like a savings account. That's like an investment. Black men are an investment financially through marriage. But because so many black men divorce, whether it's a black woman, white woman, any woman, because the divorce rate is so high, it was difficult, it became difficult to keep up with the money. So now the law opens up where these same men, generations later, can legally marry each other, even if they're not actually in the same home, laying in the same bed, whatever. It's not about sex. Same sex marriage is no longer about, it has nothing to do with sex. It's all about money, money moves, securing assets. That's the securest border we have in America. Foundational Americans, whether black or white, marrying to keep the wealth in our own country, on our own land. Land ownership. So there was a time when men and women were holding it down, the legal marriage, to keep the wealth in the country. But the divorce rate became so high, and so many white men married foreign women, it just became too expensive, to the point where black marriages couldn't even bear the weight. There is no more black marriage. So that's why we see an increase now of white men marrying black women. There's this trend, but I think we waited too late. I see no value in it, and I have a business mind. I see no value in it. And you know what really, really threw it? Let me tell you what really threw it: the same sex marriage. Same sex marriage. It's same sex marriage is in competition with white men marrying black women. It same sex marriage is powerful. That was a powerful move. It's almost like this country has not caught up. It hasn't caught up to the impact of that. It hasn't taken advantage of it. Number one. Number one, whether regardless to being right or wrong, regardless to how we feel about it, it's still a really good chess move financially for the country that has not been taken advantage of because we sexualize everything. If more rich men, more trillionaires, billionaires, perhaps even millionaires, if it's not too late, men, men, more rich men need to marry each other legally, not so much sexually, living together and all that. No. And women, yeah, women can take advantage of it too, but it won't have the same impact as men. And yeah, black people, we have an impact, a strong impact because, we're the consumer base and all, the workers and consumers, but we've been depleted, you know? I mean, we're still here. We've been um, whited out, basically, as much as we could tolerate without losing our purity. As pure as we can be here in America, we're it. And we can't afford to extract any more of our oil, so to speak. So men are gonna have to do the inevitable, oil up, take advantage of the law on the book because y'all know it's gonna change. It's going to change. And it's not about morals, it's not about preferences, it's not about any of that social stuff. It's strictly financial. Strictly financial. Bill Gates was smart. Him, he and his wife, I don't think they divorced because they just hate each other so much. They had to divorce because America was folding in. And sometimes divorce is the best way to save money, save some shit before everything else fold fold all around you. But if you remarry, you got to remarry in a way that's going to not only save what you put aside in divorce, but what the other part that you got left, you got to invest it wise. And usually another woman is not it. That's the fastest way to lose it again. More men need to take advantage of the marriage law, the same sex marriage law, not for sex purposes, not for romantic purposes. You know what I'm saying? For financial purposes, if that makes sense. That is the real border, even though that law is likely to change. And then when the law change, it's not only going to change that, but it'll probably end the interracial marriage too, the mixing, because there is a shortage. We have to replenish our natural resource of our races. The races must replenish themselves. And the only way to preserve nature is to leave it alone. It has to be able to be fruitful and multiply in order to ever mix again. In order to have any mixing in the future, you got to have some original material. In order to have white people, we got to let white people keep being born. In order to have black people, you got to let them keep being born. In order to have China, we got to let these people keep being born. You can't mix out your whole population. So, marriage, legal marriage, has a lot to do with a country's ability to financially thrive. And the only reason why men, that the red pill thing ever came to life is because two men can legally marry. Two men can legally marry. Why do men need women if they can legally marry and have all the money they want? And for those who are not brave enough or have the courage enough to legally marry, they just simply be together like they've always done. Nothing's changed, really. Nothing's really changed. You know how people say, I'm hiding behind the law, or I'm hiding behind this, or hiding behind marriage, or hiding behind something? Well, some people can live right out in front of it. Some people live right out in front of the law, while others are hiding behind it. Some people living out in front of marriage, while other people are living behind it. So same sex marriage is like a type of living in front of the law. And I already told y'all, I know what I'm saying sounds crazy. I am rambling. I'm brainstorming. I'm I'm developing a theory, a concept, an idea called the eternal deficit of mankind. I'm explaining how, through all my ramblings and crazy talk, how mankind owes Most High. Beginning from Genesis, Most High started off from the beginning this way. He created this place with a void. He created this place dark, off the rip, without form. We're sent here to develop it. And we use laws to shape and form and fill the voids through multiplication and fruitfulness. And I'm just breaking it down and explaining it to the best of my ability. And I'm explaining how right now in America, the real border control is legal marriage. And the only way men can regain control, foundational white men, foundational black men, foundational native men, just foundational natives and foundational constitutional people. You know what I'm saying? The natives and the legal folks. The only way to keep this thing going, if it's meant to go, maybe it's just meant to fall apart. But if it is meant to go, before the legal law is changed again, take advantage of it. If men have more money than women, I mean, I know women have a lot of money these days. I know that. I get that part. But if men still have the most, then the only way to keep it here in America foundationally is to marry one another, even though it's the most foul thing that seems to go against foundational. But if your tradition and foundation is crumbling, and the only thing that can keep it standing is a law, then you better hang on that law. Because when it got down to the nitty gritty, what did Jesus say? He's like, look, I know it's like, what, 600 and some laws. But when it get down to the nitty gritty, remember these two. Love God with all you got, your mind, heart, body, soul, whatever. And then treat other people as well as you treat yourself. When you doing good, treat other people good. Hey, if you bad, do the best you can and treat other people as well as you can in that bad place. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, what else can you do? And that's where we're at now. There's only a few good laws to really hang on to right now. And as bad as they may sound, same sex law is one of the ones that can keep foundational American men alive. And you ain't got to be in each other's bed to do it. You ain't got to leave your wife and kids to take advantage of the law. Because it's going to change. All them other laws are changing. You don't think same sex law is going to change, and you don't think that interracial law is going to change. It's going to change. It ain't got nothing to do with preference. It's going to have everything to do with preserving races, because that's the kind of game we play. And I know black people running around here with a lot of pride and power and all that. And that's great. We should be celebrating. It's great. But what it did show this election, we're not strong enough on our own. That's also what it showed. We are too whited out. We want to be like them so much to even our vote don't really matter anymore. All of us can get together and vote 100%, and it won't really get nobody in office. That's how much we want to be like them. They may not be like us, but we want to be like them so much till we barely exist. But they're in the same boat. You know what I mean? They're in the same boat. So a similar boat in a different way. Not in the same way we are, but they're in the same boat. Everybody right now can truly see who they are and where they stand. All right, guys. So, yeah, some of us are still operating under the old system, and the old system don't work no more. And we may be overselling ourselves in a market that don't exist. So I admit that my skills are old and I tap out the game. I'm not even interested in even trying to compete. I know I'm not. So no one has to worry about me overselling myself because I'm not even out there like that. I just have a select few married couple friends that don't mind hanging around a divorced woman. Single people don't work for me. I'm not interested in dating single people, being married again, none of that kind of stuff. I'm not interested in that game. I have a married mindset after 32 years. I have a married mindset and I like hanging out with married people, but I don't like, no cheating and carrying on. So, I be with the husband and the wife at the same time together. I hang out with both of them together at the same time. And I don't have sex no more, so that's off the table. So I don't, you know, they ain't gotta we just not gonna have all that kind of crazy drama going on. And I don't have my cutoff game is strong. If they don't want me around no more, I just go. No problem. You know, keep my life simple. I still like to socialize. I still like to get out and dance and be around people you know, but my family comes first. I have 7 grandsons. I ain't got time to be dating. At my age, with 7 grandsons, and then I have 1 granddaughter. Just 1. Mhm. So far, so far. So I ain't got time for no men. I'd rather save that energy that I would give men my age being their caregiver. I'd rather save that energy and give it to my grandsons, making sure they get back and forth to school and work. And helping their parents. Their parents do it, but, I like to help. Pick up kids from school, take kids to work, you know, teach them how to do their taxes and teach them how to take care of themselves with their parents. The stuff that their parents do, I notice, and the stuff that I can see that I can do, I do it wherever I can help and keep the thing going. volunteering in school, all of that. So with my grandkids, it feels good to be able to do. I can't do all the stuff I did for my grandkids that I did for their parents, but it feels good to do some of the stuff. It feels good. I am so much better, y'all. I have balanced out. Those of you who've been following me for a while, I have come a long way because I was toe up from the flow up right here on YouTube, healing from being dumped. Yep, I was dumped right here on YouTube for everybody. And I've come a long way, guys. I was a hot, stinking mess. Jesus Christ. But I'm better. I'm better. I know who I am now. After 32 years of being married, it wasn't just me. I hadn't been just me in all that time. And so now that it's a few years past divorce, now, when I look in the mirror, I have a clearer view of who I am now. I'm still a long way away from being all that. I just, this is new. And it feels good to not have the pressure of trying to impress somebody else, trying to be somebody's wife again. You know what I mean? I don't have that pressure. I just have no desire, no interest. I just want to have fun, enjoy my family, you know, figure out how to make money on my own, figure out how to make money on my own for the first time. Um, just, take care of myself. I've never had to. So I will figure it out. Just make the decisions over my family. Enjoy doing it. I love this. I don't have to ask nobody, debate with nobody. I just, make decisions. I love it. And, I have a few couples, that I talk to and see. And I like to travel. So, I have reasons to travel. And so I'm just going to enjoy being a senior citizen. And I don't mind being alone. I don't mind. But to me, I'm not. I mean, I know the world says because I'm not married, I'm alone. Okay, fine. In that regard, I am. But, 3 generations live in my house. I'm here. My daughter is here. She's inheriting the home. And then my grandson, he's inheriting, that generation's, they're inheriting it too. So all 3 generations that represent this house is here. So I just don't see how that's being alone. I don't. And I'm not going to let anybody convince me that it is. Because I'm enjoying it. I like having my daughter here and my grandsons. One actually kind of live here. He don't really live here, but he do, I'm helping out. And and then the other ones are here, helping with me with my lawn and, just connecting. So life is good after divorce when you're old. It can be anyway. Maybe not for everybody, but it can be. It is for me. I'm making it that way. I'm a minimalist. I don't require much to go to stay alive. So, and if I get sick enough, I told the kids just let me die. You know, it's that simple. I have my insurance policies and everything lined up, and they're aware of it. And I just have my affairs in order in a basic way. So, whatever consequences are from my choices, I'm prepared to suffer through them. And that's how I raise my kids. And And the only thing I can do is just be the example of what I teach them. Because I made this choice, this is the consequence. And there's nothing I can do about it at this point. There's nothing you can do about it. But at least we all know what's going on. So when it's stuff start happening on my path at any point in time, it's no surprise. And then they can look at their own lives and use that same logic. And wherever you can improve in your life, of course, improve. And to avoid overselling yourself is to always be true to you. Own who you are. And then allow people to choose from there. No trickery, manipulation, stealing. None of that has to happen in marriages, in countries. Everything can be reciprocal when it's based on fair trading, honesty, clear terms and conditions. But the way the world is now and the way money, leave this country, take advantage of whatever laws you can right now and do the best you can where you stand. Sometimes legal marriage has nothing to do with quote unquote love, morality, social status. Sometimes it can have everything to do with saving the investments of a country, saving the integrity, protecting the borders, regardless to where you live, who you love, who your children are. I'm the kind of woman, whether I hate to admit it or not, I am the pick me Leisha type. My name's Leisha, so I may as well say pick Leisha, right? Why say pick Misha when my name's Leisha? So anyway, I'm the pick Leisha type. But even the pick Leishas are like, whoa, the climate of marriage, the climate of the country in general, the climate of the borders, the climate of international exchange is too expensive to be legally committed to anyone. It's too expensive. Being single, solo, may be more profitable right now than legal marriage. Unless you're a billionaire. Because, see, I was thinking just before I started this video, speaking of marriage and overselling yourself and things like that, um, to me, the millionaire is the middle class, the new middle class. Notice how the millionaires are the ones complaining, the billionaires this, the billionaires that, because they realize they are the working class. How old is Bernie? He's still out there. You know what I'm saying? The millionaires became the new working class, the new middle class. If you're not a millionaire today, then you're basically poverty. Yeah. Hmm. It was just a thought I had before I started the video. The millionaires, they became the new middle class without even knowing it. It happened so fast. All right, guys. I guess I'm going to cut this off right here. It is late. You all be blessed. Thank you for your support. I can see that I have 6 likes. I'm happy to see 6 likes. Usually there's more than that, by the time I it all posts and stuff. So all right, guys, thank you. Be blessed. Thank you for your support. There were a few comments. Thank you for those. Um, click like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm not monetized anywhere on social media yet, but I do have a PayPal for those who just want to be a blessing to me. My PayPal is Dr. Leisha the Preacher, just like on my channel. And I don't have a problem with legal marriage at all. I enjoy the good and the bad of my 32 years. Even the bad, I just made the best of the bad. What else can you do? And of course, the good was good. So, I don't regret being married. But yet, in the climate that we live in today, I see the benefits of remaining single. I had to pump the brakes on that feeling that I initially had of, oh my God, I want to be with somebody too. I need to find the next person or whatever. I was like, hold up. Whoa, 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 whoa. Read the writing on the wall. Read the room, the political room, you know, just read the room. It's okay to listen to what, the world is saying. Don't be blind or whatever, blindsided, but read the scriptures, read the room, pay attention, do the math, do what's best for you, regardless to what the trends are, you know? I mean, trend statistics and all that, I'm not saying that there's no room for it, but conformity isn't the way. It's just the trend. Conformity is a trend, but not necessarily your individual path. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to my craziness. All right, bye.